there's always something interesting when you fall by Kiwis. So I just came by this morning to take a look at an international harvester he's got outside. And while hanging out, looking around, see, interesting is sometimes good and interesting is sometimes, oh my God, what were they thinking? So here's interesting good, okay? Kiwi is the only guy I know that can make an FE motor look small in a Mustang, right? That's just spectacular. So there's more on this build on your channel.
On my channel, yes.
What the hell was the name of that channel again?
Your channel?
Yours.
Mine.
I know mine.
I was wondering.
Well, and I figured I'd look at my hat.
Yeah, well, true, yeah. Kiwi Classics and Customs.
Yes. Nice job. Nice job. So you fabricated the whole firewall and this thing. We're not going to get too deep into this, but I just wanted to
A little
give you
hard to
guys
see with this piece of bit. This is holding the back of the motor up at the moment.
But this is temporary. You're not going to actually leave this on.
I don't think so, no.
But yeah, that's just beautiful. What's the name of this car?
What's the name of it?
Yeah.
You mean like the model or the?
On your channel, weren't
on
you?
the channel, we're calling it Black Beauty.
Black Beauty.
Black Beauty is its nickname.
Black Beauty. But this isn't why I wanted to show you what I wanted to show you guys. So this is what I want to show you guys. So we were here about 2 months ago, and we were showing off some of the flipper handiwork on this thing. And since then, Kiwi's completely rebuilt the whole front of this thing. And it's beautiful. It's much, much better than new.
It's a little stronger than it was here.
Just a little bit.
We've added the torque boxes in, which these never came with, which is a big plus on these. Even if you got a 289, you should add torque boxes to it. Yeah.
But, and this, so this totally blew my mind. I've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of really sketchy stuff. I've done a lot of really sketchy stuff, but never anything sketchy to this level. So when we looked over this car the last time, it was obvious that the quarter panels, well, I'll show the other side first. It was obvious that the quarter panels had just been skinned over. So you can see the weld here and then this bondo. Okay, not terribly crazy, not terribly bad. But then you come across this. Kiwi, what the hell happened here?
Well, we cut the quarter off along the factory joints. Then it became apparent that like some butchery, as you call it, had gone on.
Oh, jeez.
This is the little bracket that supports the bumper, and I mean that's an idea of what's been going on.
Okay, this has been brazed in place.
Yeah.
Okay, they brazed a frame brace, a bumper brace, to a rotted piece of sheet metal.
This did go in.
Yeah. Okay. This is, guys, when you buy a car from a flipper, one of these like used car lots or one of these auction cars and stuff like that, okay, this is what's hiding under the pretty paint. This is what's hiding under the pretty paint. And the thing that blows my mind about this is that it's brazed, okay? This isn't welded. It's brazed. You can see the brazed material all over here. Now, this isn't just the bracket. Kiwi, show them what else you found.
Well, this is the rail, the chassis rail, which used to live there. Okay. Reason we've cut it out is it's been replaced once already, and you can see a little bit of the bronzing here.
Yeah, he calls it bronzing.
Bronzing, brazing. Yeah. And same on this side, you can see the gold color.
So they literally brazed. Like, so brazing, listen, certain things, okay, brazing is completely acceptable. You know, you're joining sheet metal, something that is under a lot of stress, right? But you got to remember, brazing, there's no penetration to brazing. Think of oops.
Hello.
No, we'll make it. Think of brazing as gluing metal together, because essentially that's what you're doing. It's a more elaborate form of soldering, let's just say. There's zero penetration when you braze. It's only just over the surface. And this thing has bumper brackets, reinforcements, and frame rails that were literally brazed in place. Like they might as well have just been held in place with Bondo.
When they've put this, the section from here to here, like through here that's a little flange that the factory put in, and the aftermarket makers put in, that's meant to weld to the back of the car. Now,
okay, bring it out here a little bit because the light. Yeah.
Okay. This area here is meant to be welded to a brace that goes across between the two chassis rails.
Right.
And it's meant to be welded on there. As you can see, there's no welding whatsoever. When this was once
They just folded it over.
Well, that came out of the box like that. Otherwise, I'm sure they wouldn't have even tried that. That's just that they just, you know, when they make it, they fold that flange over. See, you've got something to weld through. You put a series of spot welds through there.
And there was nothing.
There was nothing, and this was in here, and it was attached to the back on this little tiny point here, and that little tiny point. That's all that was holding it to the back of the car. It's, you know, it's meant to be tied to the back of the car, which is this, which is tied to the quarter, which is tied to the roof. It doesn't complete. You know, all parts are structural, and this really just wasn't connected.
Now, here's the thing about this for you guys who aren't familiar with these cars, aren't familiar with Mustangs, Fords of this era, okay? The gas tank on these cars is actually the trunk floor, right? Mopar guys don't know that because more of the gas tank hangs under the trunk floor. Well, on these cars, the gas tank itself is the trunk floor. And this is the flange that the gas tank hangs from.
You can see some of the bolts have been left in, but yeah, it just sits in that hole there. It's
right.
Got a corrugated top on it, so it's strong enough to load stuff on.
So what that means now is that the back of this car was completely unprotected. The gas tank was completely unprotected. As the slightest impact, like a 15 or 20 mile an hour impact, would have broken all of these braze joints and collapsed the gas tank. This is just the most insane thing. And it's not just this side.
No. This side's no better. And this is a little telltale here. This just kind of looks like mud.
Right.
That's the main reason for that is it is mud.
Oh God.
You know, they were welded in. They had a little bit of seam sealer from the factory, and you can tell it looks factory. That does not look factory. They've put this trunk floor in here and put a joint across here.
Okay.
Basically just to make life easier for themselves. And they haven't tried to hide it or anything like that. It goes all the way up in front of this bulkhead, so there's a bit of work in breaking all this loose and putting that whole piece in there.
So they just created a seam over here.
Yeah.
But again, this whole area is what protects the gas tank. There is absolutely nothing to keep the gas tank from crushing on this car. This is a true flipper special. Somewhere along the line, somebody just wanted to turn a quick profit. They threw a really nice paint job and some really nice stripes on an otherwise rotted car. Crazy. This is why you got to scrutinize everything. So this is, I joked around when we were talking about the last time that the only thing left is going to be the roof and the trunk lid by the time you're done.
Yeah, maybe the hood.
Well, maybe the hood. But seriously, that's what we're down to, guys. The roof and the trunk lid.
Yeah.
And maybe the hood.
We everywhere we look was kind of another surprise, but you know, that is old cars. And
the thing about this is that it's the kind of surprise that will kill you and your family.
it's not safe, no.
No, seriously,
Yeah,
imagine taking your kids, you got a couple of kids, and you're going to stick them in the back of this car and go for a Sunday ride, you know, and just somebody on their cell phone, not paying attention, rolls into the back here, and what would normally be just a fender bender becomes everybody dies in a flaming wreck.
But see, like that's a replacement chassis rail for this car. And there's three sides to it, right?
Yeah.
It's not very strong. You can actually get that, and you can, you know, you can squeeze it. That's
but when it's all
regulation.
together in a structure.
When the top's welded on with spot welds, you know, every like inch or so, you know, there's a prescribed, you know, there's an engineering theory of how many spot welds you need. And when that's all done correctly, that becomes strong. Right now, it's not. Now, the old floor that was on it in there was just brazed in a couple of spots. So as soon as that gets a compression impact, this just opens up and just folds up.
It's unbelievable.
Because that's not a lot. That's heavier than sheet metal, but it's not that much heavier. But it relies on it being a tube to make it strong. And all the back end is not a tube. It's just
So, all right. Well, how much more have you got to do on this car?
Lots. We're putting in bigger wheel tubs. These are 2 inches deeper inner tubs. Then we've got the outer one to put on. But like I haven't got it now. It's gone out in the trash. But the outer wheelhouse, where it came down to the quarter here, didn't quite fit, I'm guessing. So they just cut the lip off and left it there. So it just, right around the wheel arch, you know, where the wheel arch you see was not connected to the inner at all. They had put a bit of sealer in there.
Well, yeah,
So, you know.
something.
But that's the stuff you got to look out for, because it's what people do, and people think it's okay.
Telling you guys, it's the flippers. You got to watch out for them flippers, and this is what you find at auctions. This is what you find at consignment dealer floors. This is what you find, like, well, sometimes just on Facebook Marketplace. When you come across a car that just looks too good, like it's been, you know, visually, it's got a perfect interior, it's got beautiful paint, it's got nice chrome and everything else, really start to look under the surface, look in the nooks and crannies. And honestly, if you're not really educated, have an educated set of eyes looking at it, because even, I mean, most mechanics, most knowledgeable mechanics would have missed the brazed part of it. He only noticed it because underneath the paint he could see the color.
That's fair.
So you got to scrutinize everything. These people should be in prison, and I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly. The people who do this kind of stuff should be in prison. All right, I got to get out of here. I have to go do work. So, Kiwi,
Yes.
tell them to subscribe to your channel.
Please come over, take a look. There's a lot more on this car coming, like already there and coming on this car. It's getting a Coyote engine, 6-speed trans. It's getting all the works.
None
And-
of this was expected.
No.
No, this is
No.
all like by
We
surprise.
haven't, what it came in for, we haven't actually got to yet. We're still working on
the roof.
getting it ready to. We're working on getting it ready to start the project, which was 4-link, you know, new front suspension and steering, and the engine swap, and we're not even close yet.
Let me ask you a serious question. Serious.
Yep.
It sounds like I'm joking around. It's a serious question. Would it have actually been easier if the customer only dropped off a roof at this point?
No, that's not quite right, but because I mean the rockers were all good, and there's the rear, the front 2/3 of the rear rails are good.
It would have been easier if they just dropped off a roof. It would have been less work. You could have just taken all the new panels that you've got here now and just strung them together.
Yeah, well, there's an element of truth to that. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
This inner structure is what's but I mean that's part of the roof, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah, if it was a roof cut and, with the benefit of hindsight, and it's easy to look at this now that it's all opened up and it all looks very obvious, but when this rolled in here, it was like, wow, that's quite a
well,
nice
I
car.
remember when the car rolled in. I was here right after it came in.
Yeah.
I just started working on it, and I was like, this is beautiful. You know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I really like these cars, and especially this color combination.
Yeah, they look great.
All right, so.
Don't be too proud, even if you think, I know quite a bit about cars, like, there was some, if I'd had a good look at this, like got it up on the rack and had a good look, I would have picked up, not all of it, I'll be honest, not all of it, but I'd have picked up a lot of it, enough to go, this isn't the car for you.
Absolutely. All right, so that's it, guys. I got to get back to my shop. I got to stop screwing around here. I come here to escape my place. I have to get away from the Mopars. I have to get away, and so I come here, and look what I get. I get good content.
I mean, this makes you feel better about your Mopar.
It does. It does. It makes me feel much better about my Mopar. So, all right, guys, and remember Thursday night. Tonight's Thursday.
Yeah, tonight's
Yeah,
Thursday.
okay.
I'll be seeing you in just a few hours.
Every Thursday night, 7 o'clock, you can pick Kiwi's mystical brain and ask him all kinds of technical and even personal questions, and he'll answer anything. He's crazy like that. See you tomorrow.
There you go.